Hello, my name is Ulrike and I co-founded Reefs in 2020 to rethink, rebuild and regenerate coral reefs. That is not working. Can you make this work? Yeah? Give us a second. It works with him. Okay. Okay. What happened? Okay. That's right. We rebuilt coral reefs. As most of you know, coral reefs are the most biodiverse ecosystem on our planet, and they are also our best bet to work against flooding and coastal erosion in tropical areas when sea level rises, which will happen. The sad part is that we are right on track to lose almost all of our coral reefs within our lifetimes. My co-founders and I, we couldn't see that happen, so we started to develop a way to rebuild them, to bring back that biodiversity. And we started with little material tests. This is 3D printed clay, pure terracotta, with different structural elements on the surface. And after just 3 years, this is what happened, and that is without doing anything other than putting them in the water. We then crowdfunded our first full reef out of 230 of these modules and built a 15 cubic meter reef in Colombia on the island of San Andres that is now thriving with life. After 3 months, we already brought the fish biodiversity back to the levels of the natural reef. After that came a lot of invertebrates, octopus, crustaceans, all those little critters that are vital for the resilience of that reef to work. And the corals started growing. We saw first baby corals come in after about 6 months that are now taking over the reef and rejuvenating it on their own. And now that we see that this works, we are starting to scale this up. And we are now offering reefs as a service to essentially 2 customer segments. The first one is pretty straightforward. That's coastal resorts and hotels that need to revive their coastlines, the areas around their properties. They may want guest engagement and also just some beauty around their properties. The second aspect is companies. Any company that wants to engage in biodiversity, maybe prior to the regulations on that coming in. Kind of like planting trees, but planting corals. At the core is always a reef, but then we offer marketing subscriptions for them to actually market their impact internally and externally as well. Since we started talking about this, we've closed contracts with companies of about 250,000 Swiss francs or euros, and I've just sent out offers to 3 private island resorts totaling about $500,000. This is my team, 4 amazing ladies. It's interdisciplinary. We are very close, and since about a year we are advised and currently totally challenged every day by our great advisory board. We've worked together for about 1.5 years, and now we're really ready to scale this up, and we're looking for you. We're raising 1 million to do all of these things. I don't have a lot of more time, but please come to me if you're passionate about the ocean and want to create a legacy in helping coral reefs. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Very clear. The beauty of the human mind, being able to think of things like this, is just fascinating every time. Now, next up, and without further ado, Florence Glavin of Trees for the Future. Your 3 minutes are starting now. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Florence, and I am on the team at Trees for the Future. We are a non-profit organization dedicated to restoring the environment, rejuvenating the soil, and working with farmers. So as most of you know, unsustainable farming is the leading cause, or one of the leading causes, of poverty, climate change, and hunger. And so how do we grow food sustainably while helping life, land, and livelihoods thrive? Well, that's where we come in. Enters Trees for the Future. So by combining agroforestry, so regenerative agriculture, with agroforestry, we allow farmers to plant a nice diversity of crops, and by planting thousands of trees. Here you go. As you can see here on these photos, you see the whole perimeter of thousands of trees being planted, and then within you will have a diverse variety of crops. So we work with them, we train them, we give them all the tools to succeed. And as you can see on this picture, the farmer has moved away from a monocrop approach to now having a wide variety of crops like fruits, vegetables, trees, which brings back the biodiversity on the land, right? The land was very dry, and now you have all sorts of birds coming back. It's wonderful. We have elders actually telling us about it. In our model, the farmer is really the boss, so they tell us what they want to eat, what they want to sell on the market, and we supply them with the tools, the training, and the seeds, of course, to bring all this back. I like to say that our local training staff is our secret ingredient, and so their extensive expertise and knowledge of the communities we serve is vital to ensuring success. As you can see, we've had quite an impact. So we've been around since 1989. And since we planted more than 300 million trees, we have captured 4.5 million tons of CO2. We have restored 72,000 acres of land. And we have put 45,000 farming families on the pathway out of poverty and hunger. We're also working with the Rainforest Connection. It's funny because actually our neighbors right across the street to formally track the return of biodiversity on our projects. So there is a lot of work to do still. We have lots of farmers lined up, ready to learn and grow. And we're really hoping to connect with as many of you as possible to continue restoring the landscape, biodiversity, and combat poverty and hunger. Thank you so much.
Amazing work. Thank you so much to you. Okay, next up we have Jamila Donti of Koraï.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I'm not going to introduce this because it's been already introduced in the morning. But this is not only a dead coral. This is a big part of my story, one of our biggest threats in the face of climate change, and maybe your best business opportunity today. My name is Jamila Donti. I'm the founder of Koraï, and I'm going to prove you that this can also be something you can take part in the change. So, well, I was born in Madagascar, born and raised there. Picture a younger version of me, growing up loving lemurs and corals, with parents, entrepreneurs working with nature. Then, 2020 changed me. My parents' coral farm closed down. My dad died brutally the same year, and I began to realize that the landscape of my childhood is about to disappear. While we all know today that trees are carbon sinks, while we'll still dream about traveling to see beautiful sightings like this one, we are ignoring that a mass extinction is happening below, as my friend said earlier. We lost already a third of our mangrove around the world and half of our coral reefs, while these ecosystems are essential to our lives because they are huge biodiversity hotspots, they are the biggest carbon sink on Earth, and they're responsible for a value equivalent to the US GDP. What if I told you now that you can take part in the change through your business? At Koraï, we engage companies in the regeneration of marine ecosystems of coastal Africa. We offer smart companies, maybe like yours because you're here at ChangeNOW, the possibility to regenerate square meters of coral, more resilient corals, to replant thousands of protected mangroves, and also to sponsor awareness programs for your employees or local communities. And we help you value this investment through your strategic priorities. Is it enriching the biodiversity and reduce your carbon footprint? Is it engage your employees in your commitments? Or is it to create marketing drive? We're going forward very fast. We were created last year, but we've already implanted our first reef in Madagascar, where I just came back from a few weeks ago. And we plan on raising money next year. So we're a lot of passionate, among which former fishermen from Madagascar preparing our heritage. So I'm asking you to join this mission. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, thank you so much. I see a lot of you with the same shirts. Are you all from the same team? Maybe you can wave for a moment. Okay, hello, welcome. Good to have you. Next up is Aneta Ozyryanska of Oligofeed.
Hello. Imagine the world without. Imagine the world plunged in a major financial and social crisis. Imagine the world without access to vegetables, to fruits, to some protein sources. Imagine the world without flowers and without colors. What is it? Is it the next pandemic, COVID pandemic? Is it the world after the collapse of financial institution? No. This is the world exactly as we are living right now today, with one tiny difference. This is the world without bees. Bees are today essential for all of us. They are responsible for 1/3 of global food supply directly through their pollination. And yet we have a huge problem today because they are disappearing. They are disappearing at the rate that is 10 times too high in comparison to normal. This is due to a lot of different things going on in the environment, starting from the climate change, going through some practices in intensive agriculture, and finishing with globalization that spreads away different pathogens and mites. You would say, okay, this is easy, let's just fix the environment and so bees will be in a better health. But the problem is that the bee is living for 45 days only, and they don't have time to wait for that. If we don't do something right now, today, during our lifetime, we are going to see the complete decline of bees on European continent, among others. My name is Aneta Ozyryanska. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Oligofeed. We have found a solution to save the bees. We have developed a patented and scientifically proven supplement for bees, boosting their natural immunity system. This product can reduce the bee mortality of up to 80%, and this is proven by 8 years of academic research and more than 1,000 tests with professional beekeepers in Europe and the United States. Today we are on the market of pollination, which is worth today between $200 and $500 billion worldwide, and this is the economical value that we are going to secure with our solution at Oligofeed. I am not alone in this battle. I'm associated to Sebastian, who's professor at University of Versailles and inventor of our solution. We have joined our forces to have a positive and immediate impact on the environment. And we have a very strong support from the beekeeping industry with advisors such as the president of French National Union for the Beekeeping. Today we want to step from the R&D phase to market our solution, and we are looking for the financial partners for our current €1 million funding round. If in this room there are people that want to bring back colors to the world with Oligofeed, let's talk about it after this pitch. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Amazing, thank you so much. I think with that energy and attitude, you are going to be successful. I wish you all the best. Now, last but not least, for this round of pitches, we have Ana Rosa de Lima Tostiga from Meli Bees Network. Stage is yours. Hi, Anna.
Thank you. Great to be here. We're talking about ideas to change the world, but if we want to do that, we need to look at where these ideas are urgent, where this change is urgent. I come from the Amazon area, and there the communities are sacrificing their own life, are risking their own lives to protect, like the Guajajara forest protectors. And we here just listen to the carbon emissions that are happening. But truth is that these emissions and the biodiversity destruction is related to human rights abuses. For that solution, we build an impact network. We currently engage 50 communities located where this is urgent, and the change is urgent. And they connect with each other and relate with each other. They exchange seeds so they can flourish amongst each other together. We do projects like pollinating regeneration, where we engage the communities since the project's idea. We empower them to train
the community leaders are trained to go back to their communities and listen to their project ideas. And that was incredible. The communities really had a lot of response. They raised more than 100 ideas, and you can see here some of the subjects of topics that these ideas were about. At Meli, we support projects with environmental and social impact. We already have some experience with agriculture, bees, tech. You can ask me later about more. We are being recognized more and more, and even though we are in a very young organization, 3 years since foundation, and we are a strong team who has deep connections in the regions we work with. They are located both in Europe and in Brazil. And we invite you to join the action and actually look for support community-based activities. Can be with volunteers, experts, and foundations, of course. Let's have a chat later.
Thank you so much, Anna. Wonderful work. You can actually stay with us, and I'm going to ask all the other changemakers who've just pitched to come back and rejoin me on stage for a quick 7 to 8 minute Q&A with our wonderful jury. You have the microphones in front of you, and first come, first serve.
Okay, so we're mixing up. Thank you all. Amazing pitches, very differentiated in the biodiversity field. My question would be for reefs, actually. How do you ensure scalability and what are your unit economics at reefs?
We ensure scalability by getting the module production industrialized. We're actually moving away from 3D printing. That's one of the next steps in R&D. The implementation is always done by creating jobs locally. That also ensures ownership over the reefs of the local communities, which is important for a sustainable impact. And then the unit economics. So we're at about 40 to 50% margin in building the reefs, and then about 70 to 80% in the marketing subscriptions after that, exactly.
Wonderful. Next question.
My question is for Oligofeed. I would like to understand who would be ultimately your largest customers, and how your technology and the science work actually, and what did you build to really enhance this bee immunity?
Okay, so our main customers will be beekeepers. So we are going to focus on the big professional ones, either those that are doing pollination or the honey production. The product is that. So this is to serve 3,000 hives, a little bit, something more or less like this. This is something that we are going to mix to the sugar solutions and put in the hives. And this is the molecule based on the natural-based trace element that we should find in the environment, but today we have a deficiency for that. So we are kind of helping bees to find it through the feed.
Yeah, next question. Thank you.
My question is for Florence. Florence, how do you get in your model local buy-in, and then how do you scale it?
Great question. So we buy seeds. Is that your question about? I'm sorry.
How do you get the local farmers to buy into the model?
Okay.
And then how do you scale?
Yes.
What seems like a high-touch model?
So the farmers that we get into the project usually see what has been done in the neighboring communities, right? So we usually expand our projects near existing projects, and so when they see what has been happening to others, they want to join our program. Yeah.
Thank you for the great presentation. So it's more general question to all of you, and I want to say it's all very interesting solutions, but how do you make sure that you will be able to scale fast enough to address the urgency of those topics, and what's your vision, and what will be the bottlenecks that you want to address fast to be able to deliver your solutions in all the markets you can address?
Sneaking 3 questions into one. I hope you can manage to keep it short.
I'm going to try to keep it short. So for us at Koraï, what we do is, for now we have Madagascar as a country. It's 20% of the coral reefs of coastal Eastern Africa. And what we are doing is to prove the model for this year. Next year we're fundraising, and the idea is to become a franchise model. so that locally they can be independent and we scale quite fast.
Wonderful. Maybe we can continue here. Yeah, Anna?
So we work in an impact network model. So the communities itself get together and transfer knowledge within each other and see the example. So we are, of course, grow together with their trust as well, and reaching new communities like here, having more connections around the globe, and that's how we want to grow, not only in Brazil but also in other countries and regions.
We try to work a little bit like a software startup, so iterating fast. We build something may not be perfect, and we integrate results from that as we go. And then in addition to that, we try to push biodiversity markets, so the understanding that there will be a market, and as long as that's not there, integrating reefs as biodiversity assets for blue carbon portfolios.
So our scaling will be easy because 3% of beekeepers possess more than 70% of beehives. So with working with big professional beekeepers, we can easily reach the enough number of beehives for us to scale. And then we are going to also use the distribution networks to scale internationally thanks to that.
Wonderful. Other questions? Over here maybe, yeah? Mm-hmm.
Maybe very quick question. It's how to track all the benefit of your project, because biodiversity is quite complex. You can have a lot of trade-off with climate and a lot of indicators. So how to make sure that will be a success of your project and you don't just plant tree or plant reef, and to make sure it's not risk of trade-off.
Maybe a super quick round of your impact KPIs, if you have any.
Regular monitoring with environmental DNA. And then, of course, also monitoring the ecosystems around mangroves, seagrasses to see how they're doing.
Wonderful.
We're actually using more science-based approach, such as the Rainforest Connection that has a very scientific with lots of tools, right? Modern tools, drones, imagery, and satellites, and yes, lots of technology.
I'd just like to add that we were creating an impact report that would be interactive for our clients and for the scientists that would work for us.
So we mix technology and data from drones and so on, and with the really deep listening of the communities. So we have very complex reporting that really includes the community's voices on it.
So we are a scientific company, so we are measuring our results through the tests and statistically reliable data to understand what is the impact of our product.
Wonderful. I have one as well, very quick round again. In case you are looking for investment or grant support, can you maybe very quickly say what you need right now in terms of financials?
So we are looking to raise 1 million euros at Oligofeed.
1 to 1.2 million, minimum ticket 50,000, and we're still missing a lead investor.
I don't have a number for you. We're always constantly looking to grow.
Fair enough.
We're fundraising next year, but non-dilutive right now, but we're looking for customers.
Great.
We are a non-profit organization, so we are always looking for funders and donors. So.
Can you maybe say your annual
we
costs?
Are around 200,000 annual, so quite smaller than the others.
That seems like a good deal for a philanthropic funder looking at what you're doing. Thank you. Last question, if there is any. If not, then I would say please put your hands together for this amazing round of changemakers. Thank you so much for the work that you do. I wish you all the best.